Welcome to my Mercy settings. Let's start off with my sensitivity. So by default, I have sensitivity of 5.5, but on Mercy specifically, I have a sensitivity of 10.75. This is because as Mercy, you're more likely to look around to gather information of where the enemies are, but also where your allies are. On top of the fact that Mercy is not really an aim-heavy hero, you don't really need that much aim, so it's just better to have a higher sense. But as long as you can, control where you flick onto so you can GA to someone's safety, that's really what matters the most. I would recommend higher sensitivity so you have an easier time looking around you, seeing where people are. It's a bit of a crime I don't have the heart thing yet, but that's okay. This is my crosshair if anyone wants to copy it, but this is the same one I have on all my heroes, so I mean, whatever. Beam sensitivity I have set to 50%. Basically it's at 100 by default, which means if I go look at somewhere and I go M1, it automatically connects to this spot over here, even though I'm aiming so super far away from them. I have experience that when there are a group of allies that are stacked together, and it can be quite difficult to land your peeling beam on the one who's the most critical. So I found 50% to be fine. So I'm looking, that's so annoying that the bot dies. So I'm looking here again, and my healing beam is not connecting. I have to look circa halfway through until it like locks beam again. So obviously the lower it is, the more you have to aim, but you don't want to put it so low that it's hard for you to flick onto someone and help them. So I find 50% to be most comfortable for me. Guardian Angel target priority is by default set to prefer beam target. Why do they die as soon as I stop? This means that you can beam someone, literally look anywhere, and you will fly straight to them. This also means that you can't look at someone else. You always fly to the beam target. So if you want to fly to someone else, you have to release the beam on whoever you're helping, so you can fly to someone else. And then if you're fast enough, flick back to the person you were helping. Though, that's why they introduced facing target only. So now you can have your beam on someone, but you can look away and not Guardian Angel to anyone, but you have to look at the person you want to Guardian Angel onto. This does help, however, with the problem of looking somewhere else while helping a second person, so you can fly freely. Though, you're missing kind of the one situation where you don't have anyone to look to, so you can't go anywhere. It's more common to see this in a bar or echo composition where you're in the sky and you need to fly to your flyer, and you kind of lost him because you're too focused on what's happening on the ground. So they gave us prefer facing target. This means you can lock your beam on someone, look at someone else, fly to them, but also you can look at no one and fly to a beam target. So in my opinion, that gets the best of both worlds, and that's preferably what I want to choose. So I have the freedom of going to whatever ally is in the best position, but also if I'm in a position where I don't see my teammates and I want to get out from this area, I can just press shift and I go to whoever my teammate is being beamed, or whoever my beam is on. I have toggle Guardian Angel off. That's on by default. That means if you stand, like say here, and go to someone, you press shift once, you fly all the way over to them. If I have this off, that means I have to hold my shift key to go to them, which might be counterintuitive because now that means that you have to put more force on the shift key, and if you have carpal tunnel, that's gonna not be as well and healthy for your hand or your finger. But this also opens up the possibility of stopping mid-flight. So if I just press, I go like a small step forwards. But this gives me the freedom of realizing that there could be danger over here that I'm flying into. So if I have it on and I fly and realize, oh shit, there's danger, I can't do anything. I'm forced to fly all the way over to my teammate. You can't do something, but you realize, oh shit, and then you press spacebar to jump away. But as you're doing that, the Guardian Angel meter is building and you get more momentum. You're kind of shooting yourself in the foot by flying further away. So that's why I prefer having it off. So at any point I can just release and I can be safe while still getting where I wanted to go. This also makes your movement just a tad bit more unpredictable, but if you don't like holding your key and you prefer just toggling, that's also like, it's a preference thing. So additionally, I have my Caduceus Blaster Sensitivity to 50%. Since my sensitivity on Mercy is kind of twice as much as my other heroes, I decrease the sensitivity by 50. What this means is you have it 100 by default. You look around with staff, then you switch to pistol and it's the same sensitivity. But if I switch it back to my 50%, it now means I can look around, but as soon as I switch to my blaster, I lose half of the sensitivity, which is, like I said, more my aim sensitivity, so it's easier for me to aim as Mercy, while still then getting the benefit of having high sensitivity so I can look around myself easier. Lastly, I just have crouch activates angelic descent to off. This means if you go to someone and you press control, keep holding control, you're gonna angelic descent downwards. I just prefer that off, so you can press, hold control, and then I fall down and the control basically does nothing. So I have to press my spacebar to angelic descent. I just find that to be most comfortable, but also kind of a preference thing. As an honorable mention, people have preferred to switch M1 and M2 around. So you heal on M2 and you damage boost on M1. This could help you to push more damage boost because as Mercy, you obviously want the more damage or more offensive beam usage to be higher than your healing beam usage. Otherwise, you're not getting your full value out of Mercy. So if that helps you to push the damage boost, then you can do that, but I don't like it personally because I've played with the other things for so long that it's just kind of engraved into my brain to just hold M2 instead of M1. Though if you do end up going this route with pressing M1 to damage boost and M2 to heal, you might also consider going here where your Caduceus Blaster input matches your damage boost, because if I go switch now and I press my M1, nothing's happening, but I have to shoot on M2, which is kind of awkward. So that's basically why they added this, so you can match damage boost. Now you press M1, something happens. Press M2, nothing happens. Additionally, you could just also match both. So press M1, something happens. Press M2, something happens. Doesn't matter, you can literally press both. There's this additional setting on Mercy where you can bind control to your mouse buttons. Now as you see on my overlay, I have two buttons. I have this one and I have this one. I have bound this to ping, the button 4 to ping and button 5 to escape. But that's because I don't have the regular 2 buttons on the side. I have 12. And one of these 12 buttons is my control. So I'm right now pressing the control on my mouse, though it's showing that I'm using control on my keyboard because it's just the key being pressed. If you still want to keep button 4 and 5 on your mouse, you can just add it here as like an extra button to press while still having control on crouch. But that gives you the option to save your pinky because it's really awkward to fly with shift and then slam the rest of your pinky on control so you fly high up. Where it's a lot more comfortable once you get used to it to just press shift with your left pinky and press control with your right thumb. That way you really save a lot of the unnecessary strength or force you use on your left pinky, which might tire you out by playing Mercy a lot. So if you can, I highly recommend just at least trying it for like 5 or 10 games and see if you can get a hold of it. Not only do I use it for Mercy, I also use it for like other aim heroes like Soldier, because it's awkward to spam crouch while AD strafing. I can't even do it anymore. That's how awkward it is for me. But if I just spam AD strafing with my left arm and spam control with my right, I have a lot easier time to control spam. Now also it is happening way too fast. You're likely more needed to do something like this. So your character, you know, actually changes its hitbox. So if you just stay like this, it's not really changing the hitbox. It just looks off on your screen. But, you know, that's different. The point being is I use control to crouch on my mouse so much more than I actually use it on my keyboard. Just because I've gotten so used to this Mercy setting of pressing shift on the left side, pressing control on the right side. And I've just carried this on to like other games also, but more commonly other heroes. So if you like this video, like and subscribe. And I will likely not be doing other settings like this, but I kind of could because I have other odd settings like Lucio jumping on mouse scroll down. All my melee I on scroll upwards. Not only that, I have scope on Ana on shift and I have sleep on right click. I have charge Sten orbs on shift and I have harmony on right click. I have Discord on scroll down, additionally as E. So I have a few other settings that I technically could go over, but I don't really care, and you probably already left the video by this point, so enjoy your Mercy settings.